Did you miss me? I'm back. I have returned. Yes, this is Vandal Venereal Drummond. I have returned to LuchaWorld. LuchaWorld Podcast number 83. And I'm here with the host, the producer, and the restorer of LuchaWorld Podcast, Fredo Esparza.
Where you been, Kurt?
I don't know, but it's good to be home.
Yeah, you've been gone for a while.
I have returned.
Yeah, it's usually the summer months. Back when we didn't do the podcast as often, we used to take this time off. I think we probably did like 3 or 4 during the summer.
Yeah, especially vacations take place around that time with Elena and myself.
Yeah. So it's good to have you back. I know last podcast we had the Cubs fan and Rob Bihari making his LuchaWorld podcast debut. So now you've returned, and now you have to raise the bar for those guys. And for Lucha too.
I will enhance this show with a wealth of information which I know not, because I don't watch nearly as much wrestling as Viper or Viper. I'm sorry, Viper or Cubs fan.
Well, while we were doing that podcast, they were watching Impact, so I should ask, did you watch Impact last Thursday?
I don't think I've ever watched Impact in its current form.
You're like, I don't think I've ever remember it being on a Thursday, actually.
The last time I turned on Impact, I want to say it was like a year ago, something like that. And I just turned it on to see what it was like, and I just saw, these very generic-looking bald guys all fighting each other, bald mixed martial artist heads, and I'm saying, wonder who these guys are, and then I realized I'm getting really old.
Well, I always say that too when Impact's on. It's like I have no idea who some of these guys are. Same thing with Ring of Honor sometimes, but then now they have luchadors on it, so there's a little.
There's a reason to watch it.
Yeah, there's a little more reason, especially now that Drago and Laredo Kid, Garza Jr., LAX, Conan obviously are all back. So. Yeah, but this show is not about Impact. Although we will bring up Impact because they have that relationship with AAA that has really just excited and reinvigorated pro wrestling across the border.
I will say this. They have everybody talking.
Yeah, the funniest part is that nobody even understands the whole relationship because Impact has relationships not only with AAA but the Crash, which is AAA's rival promotion in Mexico, and everybody's just confused. Even Conan doesn't know what's going on. He's like, he mentioned how he's okay with the AAA guys, the wrestlers. He's like, they're not the problem. It's the other guy. The guy in charge. The guys in charge. The people in charge are the problem. But yeah, the big news. Well, I mean, there's a lot of news from these past few weeks, but the big news was on Tuesday, AAA finally released a portion of Triplemania 25 lineup. Most of us already know that Psycho Clown versus Dr. Wagner Jr. is the big it's the big match, a mask match. It was announced last year, and they're actually weeks away from that possibly being a reality. Now, first of all, Kurt, when that match was announced a year ago, did you think this was going to actually get to this point without any issues?
No, I didn't, because Dr. Wagner's involved.
Yes. Yeah, well, they're only they're about a month away from it possibly happening,
Yes.
So
I like the way you say that, possibly.
Yeah.
Because whenever, with the combination of being AAA and being Dr. Wagner Jr., I think possible has to be hovering around there like the sword of Damocles.
Yeah, and the funny thing was that they held that press conference. And you would think Dr. Wagner Jr. and Psycho Clown would be at that press conference, but they weren't. So, there were a couple of people who were a little worried about it, but they
were doing their best Nick Diaz impersonation, not showing up to scheduled events.
Well, the thing is, I think they're going to hold a press conference like a couple of days before Triplemania, and they've also been doing a lot of other stuff. Like they did a press conference where they revealed those 2 planes that have one plane has Psycho Clown's likeness, and another plane has Dr. Wagner Jr.'s likeness. So they've been doing they've been doing some conferences and news, press conferences and stuff like that, just for some reason, the Triplemania one, they decided not to. So,
Well, the kind of cool thing about this match coming off is after the match, we'll get to see a video of Psycho Clown's face without it being all grainy and right next to a trashed automobile.
Well, we'll get to that match again because we have some news for that match as well. But the press conference, the three people that were in charge of handling the revealing these exciting matches were, of course, Dorian Roldan, Vampiro, and some dude from the company that's sponsoring Triplemania and that La Llave a la Gloria tournament, tryout tournament, whatever it is that you want to call it. They were the three people handling the big reveal of every single match. And, of course, this being AAA, every reveal they try to, they would give you a portion of a match or not really tell you the match, just tell you that this was happening. So the very first match that they revealed was that there would be a final to the La Llave a la Gloria tryouts. And, of course, you want to know who's in it, right?
I am just waiting.
Well, guess what? They didn't tell us anything. They basically told us that they're going to still have another tryout, I think this week. This weekend they have a tryout, and then on August 12th in Naucalpan, they are going to have the finals. Everybody that's still involved in this, they're all going to show up, I guess, and they're going to announce who's going to be in this Triplemania match. Which, if you follow these guys, a lot of these guys have wrestled independent shows. Mm-hmm. Some haven't even showed up in AAA again, so it's I think we're all hoping it's just Hijo. I think you saw Hijo del Vikingo, didn't you?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Did you see Hijo del Vikingo?
No, I haven't.
No, okay. Well, he's the good one. If you go through AAA TV, just search for anything with Hijo del Vikingo.
Okay. So that's where he's worth checking out then, yeah.
Yes, son of Viking.
Son of the Viking. Well, yes. I'll be a son of a Viking.
Yes.
I do remember the original Vikingo.
Yeah. Just search for that.
Teamed with Renato Torres as the hippies.
Yeah, well, this guy's small, so he's definitely not.
Is he a hippie?
Yeah, well, he could be, because he does a really good job. He's really good.
Oh, okay, good, so, very cool. So there is a reason to watch AAA.
Yeah, there is, but it's basically his two matches.
Okay.
So you'll be done with watching AAA pretty quickly.
I certainly will. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, so that match, they really didn't say much beyond that they're going to have the tryouts and another. And then the second match that was announced is your traditional AAA big show, Relevos de Locura mixed Atómicos match.
Yes.
Which is basically, this time, it's going to be Big Mami, Dinastía, Estrella Divina, and Máscara de Bronce versus Hernandez, La Hiedra, Mamba, and Mini Psycho Clown. Now, how excited are you about that match, Kurt? Is that going to get you to order this show if it's available on iPay-per-view? Absolutely not.
I'm still having flashbacks from the Villanos and Clowns.
Yeah. Well, I was telling the Lucha Talk guys, I go, I learned my lesson from 2 years ago, even before the bad AAA show, the one where that it didn't work, remember?
That's right. That was the one where
you went to a Lucha show.
The Lucha show, Superboy's birthday party.
Yes, and I didn't go because I was like, I must watch Triplemania. And I was like, shit. That was my reaction to that. Well, so that's the second match, and really the only interesting thing in this is that Máscara de Bronce he supposedly has a suitcase where he earns a shot at Johnny Mundo's AAA Mega World title. Yeah. So he's in this match. So I don't know if he still has it, but it's possible that maybe he could get it back because I know Hernandez and Kevin Cross kept stealing it from him. So maybe he'll have it by this point, and hopefully he can get his shot because, poor guy, he really deserves it.
Yes.
Yes. The third match, and this is somebody that's returning. We'll talk about her return. Sexy Star defends her Reina de Reinas title against the winner of an elimination match that will be held at Aguascalientes in July 27th. Obviously, I think this is this week, so we should know. Once you listen to this podcast, you'll probably know who's challenging her. But Sexy Star returning to AAA. How surprised are you about that, Kurt?
actually pretty surprised. I was quite surprised. Now the whole thing with Taya,
yeah,
doing the tweet saying like, you know, she is really pissed and like this is not a worker. I'm paraphrasing, of course.
Yeah.
Then I know Johnny Mundo tweeted something about Vampiro, and I'm hearing two different stories: as it's been a work all along, or they're in the process of turning it from a shoot to a work.
Well, you know what I think happened? Well, basically, let me explain what happened. So, I think about, what was it, the AAA show in Monterrey a couple of weeks ago, Vampiro came out and said that he was, I think they had no, it was the show before that. They held their show, and the next day, Vampiro, AAA sent out a press release that the Reina de Reinas title had been vacated, that they had stripped the title off of Taya.
For using a chokehold, right?
Well, before that, they didn't explain it. They just basically said that. And then, like, I think as it went along, they started writing the story about how it was because she choked, or she did something illegal against Ayako Hamada, or didn't win cleanly. And so everybody was like, well, it was a no DQ match. Any way she won, it didn't matter.
I love it.
So it made Vampiro look like a complete idiot, which I'm sure he's used to. But this time around, it was like, it came off like that. So then they cut fast forward to Monterrey's show, and Vampiro comes out, and he talks about how he had to strip the title off of Taya because she had cheated in her match, or she didn't win fairly the match against Ayako in Tijuana. So then that's when Sexy Star was announced as returning to AAA, and who would be in the match to determine a new... he basically said they were going to crown a new champion. Sexy Star returns. She wins the title, and now everybody's upset. Taya got even more upset, supposedly, and at that point... Well, before that, what happened with the belts, they had the story that came around was that AAA had asked Johnny Mundo to bring along the title because they were going to take pictures of the Reina title for some press release or whatever, and so he brought it along, and that's when they stripped Taya the belt. So then afterwards with this, Taya got upset again and started like, she kind of was like, well, you know, I never really lost the belt, so I don't understand what's going on. And then Johnny Mundo got upset and started calling, he called Vampiro a turd cutter and an office stooge. So it led to them, like, you figured after the first couple of weeks when Taya was upset that this would happen, and then Mundo did. Mundo was still booked for an EMW show, which is, it's a promotion in Tijuana that uses AAA talent. But I think the day before that, Vampiro announced that he was going to be at that show. So then everybody assumed, maybe he's going to like announce that Mundo's not going to be there, or he's going to strip the titles off of Mundo, or they're going to make it official that he's going to lose the titles at that show. So what happens at this show in Tijuana? Johnny Mundo's in a three-way match with Hijo del Fantasma and Tejano Jr. Johnny Mundo wins. So then at the end of the match, Johnny Mundo starts cursing at Vampiro, calls him, an asshole and all this other stuff, called him a turd cutter as usual and all this other stuff.
I love turd cutter.
An office stooge, and he throws the belts at Vampiro's feet. So then Vampiro gets upset and tells him he's good. He says he thinks Mundo and Taya are good, and he tells him that he hands the belts back to him, shoves the belts back at him. Mundo throws them back at him, and he walks away, and even throws the mic at Vampiro. So basically, now we have all this going on, and then Sexy Star makes her way back, and there's a lot of confusion basically right now. So nobody, I think you have some people who think it's a work because Johnny Mundo's still working with them. He's still honoring his dates with AAA. But Taya is basically not there anymore at this moment.
Interesting.
So it's like, it kind of comes off like the Taya end of it kind of seems like she could be upset, and the Mundo side of things is like, it's business, we got to keep going. So it's like, that's why everybody's so confused with it right now.
Yeah, so it's a wait and see type situation.
Yeah, this and everybody's like making, how it's an elimination match. Everybody's trying to like poking fun at the possibility that the winner of that elimination match will be Taya.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow they'll just end up with Taya facing Sexy Star again. Anyway, so it's like they're just doing all this weird stuff. And like a lot of people were saying, this if it was a work, doing it over the internet, that's not the fan base. And in English, it's not the fan base that AAA really attracts.
No, that's true. That's true. Although that's true.
Yeah, and they do write in Spanish, but it's like those fans don't really care. I think it more alienates them than anything else.
I would think so too.
Yeah.
Although people have tried some weird stuff, like I could picture somebody. I'm not saying that this is definitely a work, but I could see somebody in there thinking, "Ooh, let's do it on the internet. We'll get 100 likes on Facebook or something." Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't be shocked because
there are a lot of people who actually do believe that something like Facebook carries a lot of weight. Where we've seen how that helps get people to shows here in SoCal.
It really doesn't. I mean, it's amazing. Like
not at all.
I laugh when people are like, "Oh, I have 100,000 followers or 100,000 likes on Facebook," and it's like, are you making any money off of that? And it's like, well, then what are you like? It doesn't really help, It's not. I think if you're good at what you do, that's how you're gonna get more recognition and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't think it really matters, that stuff. The other funny thing is, like, right after that stuff was going on, Taya, Johnny Mundo were announced as working a house show for Impact Global Force Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, and that's a promotion that's dealing with AAA. So it's like there has to be. I think what happened is, like, Taya's not going to be working as much in Mexico. So maybe that's probably what like, oh, this is my way to like just say like they could build the storyline off of it. Down the road, I'll show up because Sexy Star. How bad was her situation when she left?
Pretty bad.
Yeah,
and this is minimal compared to the way she left.
And the funniest thing is, like, Sexy Star talks about how she came back because she didn't want anyone else to wear the Sexy Star character, be the Sexy Star character, and all this stuff. She is such a mark for herself. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So we've gone through that.
Should we call her Hell Girl?
Oh man, there's an interview I just heard that's just really ridiculous with her. Like, they ask her if she thinks the fans are upset with her for returning to AAA, and she's like, "You know what, my fans," and like she's like they the people who follow my career, they love me no matter what I do, and it's like, oh my God, it's like what I was thinking while I was listening to that? I was so thankful to that El Rey press girl that like told us we could only ask her 2 questions at that tour, because I don't think I could have handled listening to the 40 minutes of her bullshit.
Oh man, yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
We were a little miffed when we were given all these limitations to asking questions, but maybe that one was a blessing in disguise.
Next time I see that person, if I ever see that person, I'll apologize to her. She was rather pushy, but I understand. Now I understand, and now
I get it now. Maybe she knows more than we do. Maybe she's like, oh no, they're not going to interview her, are they? Oh Jesus, what's she going to say this time?
Yes, these people don't let these people suffer any more than 2 questions. Yeah. So the 4th match in Triplemania is another match. It's a 4-way tag match for the AAA World Tag Team titles. Dark Cuervo and Dark Scoria defend the titles against Aerostar and Drago, Monster Clown and Murder Clown, and a team from Global Force Wrestling. Could be anybody, because we don't know who it is.
Yes.
And this is interesting because they've been running this angle on AAA TV where Aerostar and Drago, they team up with this younger guy named Raptor, and they've been feuding with the Poder del Norte over the AAA Trios titles. So they're like in a best of 5 series, and you would think like the final for that best of 5 series would be in Triplemania, but I guess not. The main event.
Wrestling works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, they could change it. You never know. It's AAA. It's Vampiro. He's been changing every single show. So. Yeah, but this match should be. This match might be okay. I don't know. I don't really like Monster Clown or Murder Clown, so I'm not sure how this. And then we don't know what the Global Force team will look like too.
We shall see. Or we shall not see. I shall not see.
You shall not see.
Yes.
You'll only watch the women's match, right?
Yeah, of course. No, that's when I watch CMLL. I'll watch the women's match.
You know what's going to happen? You'll do what you do with IWRG. You'll tune into something and like it'll be the wrong show, and you'll be watching 20 minutes of like Poder del Norte versus Monster Clown and Murder Clown or something.
I'll say, hey, this thing's a lot more interesting than I thought, you know?
Yeah. So then they announced the 5th match. And this was the match that they were going to have some huge surprises that they were going to bring out at the press conference. We actually got word early on that Intocable and Scorpio Jr. were making their way back to AAA.
Really?
Yes. How excited were you about those two guys making their way back for this?
Well, it's AAA, so yeah.
So they announced that they were going to have a 30-person Copa Triplemania. And the only name they announced initially was La Parca.
Really?
Yes. As usual, that's a tradition. For any battle royal, any tournament, the first guy and only guy they will name is La Parca, and then everybody else will be to be determined, basically.
Oh, trip out.
But then they announced they were going to have Impact guys in this match. Because what better way to waste a booking of these guys than in a battle royal or any type of 30-man type of thing. They were bringing in Lashley and Moose. But then the big surprises came out as Dorian Roldan announced that they had been contacting AAA stars from the past, the present, and even wrestlers that have never been in AAA. So who were the 3 men that came out? We actually interviewed one of these men just last year, Kurt.
Oh my gosh, Oriental?
No. Oh, wait, he might be in there at some point. Are you sitting?
I'm sitting, yes.
Okay, so the first two, obviously, Intocable and Scorpio Jr., they both walk out. Mm-hmm. And the third man, carrying a snake, Psicosis, makes his way back to AAA.
No way!
Yes, Psicosis 2, Ripper.
Holy shit, the Psicosis.
Yes, not the Psicosis, the other Psicosis.
Yeah. The other Psicosis.
Yes. Do you think, now Kurt, you do watch CMLL. Do you think this is going to really hurt CMLL TV, the loss of Psicosis?
No, it's going to be a godsend, in my opinion.
You're the third person that said that. Like, I said that, Rob said that, and now you said that.
Now, okay, do you have like a Twitter feed to somebody in administration in AAA? Because I was going to say maybe we could highly recommend Pierroth and Diamante Azul.
Yes.
I would be so happy, but they can't take Rush with them. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it means getting rid of Pierroth and Diamante Azul, I think we could sacrifice losing Rush.
That's true, because only AAA could make somebody like Rush look invisible in a 6-man tag.
Well, remember how cool Averno was?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now, I mean, you see him more because they do a lot of story stuff with him, but it's like, he used to be in a lot of great matches.
Yeah, he was damn good. Yeah.
So Ripper was very happy to be back home. Psicosis, I mean. He was very happy to be back home, and I'm just thinking, man, really?
We'll see if he's happy in another 2 months.
Yeah. You know he'll be like he's one of those guys that gets upset about all that, like all the pay and stuff like that. So I bet you he'll be upset as soon as he sees some bigger name show up for this Copa Triplemania. Yes. Yeah. So the 6th match. For this match, they did have 2 of the participants at the press conference, but it is a 3-way match for the AAA Triple Crown held by Johnny Mundo. He will actually be there to defend the title against Tejano Jr. and Hijo del Fantasma. And not only that, Vampiro decided to add some stipulations to this match. He said, you know what? He said, I talked to Dorian, and I wanted to make this match even more exciting. So I told him, let's hang the 3 belts over the ring and make it a tables, ladders, and chairs match. That's like innovative. Where did they get that idea? And, that might actually be the one good match, although, you never know with these guys. But yeah, it should be good. I mean, and, it's funny because all this stuff about Johnny Mundo, like, being upset and stuff like that, that's why it's kind of like people still kind of have this doubt about it.
Yes.
Because he's working this show. But, I think having, talked to him and, him talking to other people, he kind of seems like the type of person that if he's booked and, he keeps his word. He actually still shows up to those shows.
Well,
that's what I've gathered, from other people that have, been in touch with him. But, yeah, that should be, the one good. That should be pretty good. I mean, I don't know how it's AAA, so I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of interference and other crap that happens that ends up killing it.
Well, the good thing is if you don't buy the pay-per-view, you can hear if it was worth watching and take refuge in YouTube and watch the TV show when they show it again. Yeah, watch it with one hand on the remote to fast forward and the occasional cool moment. Yeah. So interesting.
The 7th match is a street fight between Pagano and El Mesias. So I know you don't really care about that match.
Nope, I do not. Not at all.
Well, it's funny because they actually showed up and they were having this. They had a little pull apart and stuff and Vampiro. I think the only thing Vampiro really had the urge to say that Pagano was a big fan of his when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. So I was like, man, geez, come on, Vampiro, really? Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't be surprising because Pagano's not very good in the ring. But that should be, if it's a street fight, that should at least be exciting because, especially when Mesias brings his A game for a big show, he's really good in big shows. But lately, he hasn't been that good as Mesias. He hasn't been anywhere as good as his counterpart in Lucha Underground as Mil Muertes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the main event. Once again, Psycho Clown versus Dr. Wagner Jr. in a mask match. Dorian Roldan mentioned that he had been talking to Super Porky and how Super Porky wants to be at that event, but since he's part of CMLL, there's probably not I think there's going to be a situation where maybe Super Porky's going to have to decide if he's going to, I'm guessing Dorian has to decide if he's going to, pay Porky's expenses, medical expenses. Because that's really the only reason I think Porky's still with CMLL.
Yeah, probably.
Because Paco Alonso, the Luderoff family has been very helpful on that end with him. He's really made it a point not to say anything when that whole situation with Ultimo Guerrero came up. He's been very, very, I'm loyal to CMLL, and he had nothing to do with that, and he's been very separate from that. Mm-hmm. So then Dorian also said that there is some possible involvement in this match from the Alvarado and Wagner families. So there is a slight chance that we might be seeing the return of Silver King to AAA. How excited are you about that?
I'm excited.
Yes. And maybe
but not very.
Maybe Maximo La Máscara. We don't know. But I think it's more likely Silver King and his son or his quote-unquote son, because I think he's given that gimmick to different people. Yeah, so then the other news was they still don't know if it'll be on iPay-per-view, pay-per-view, live TV. There will be no Hall of Fame in Triplemania, but there will be one in Heroes Immortales in October. And they did not announce Alberto Patron would be on this show, although I wouldn't be shocked if he's in that 30-person Copa Triplemania. Maybe they maybe they're staying quiet like Impact is with him right now. So who knows? Yes. That is your AAA news. And I know, Kurt, this is all news to you because you haven't been watching AAA.
Not at all. Not for a long time.
you broke your promise of watching AAA. I'm sure Conan is heartbroken that you never took him up on that.
That's a lie I told that I have an odd feeling I might actually be forgiven for, or if not forgiven, envied for.
Well, you know what? He probably forgives you right now, but then when he returns to AAA, he'll blast you.
Suddenly, how dare you trash it? Yes. How dare you trash the number one promotion in the world today?
Yes. So now we talk about CMLL, something you do watch.
Yes.
And we will. I guess there were really two shows that since the last podcast that we did for the LuchaWorld podcast. Two shows that actually happened that had, I think, a couple of matches that were pretty important. Did you watch the July 14th show?
Which one?
Volador Jr. and Ultimo Guerrero.
No, you know what? I started watching their match, which I liked what I saw of it, but Yeah, I didn't see the whole thing. The only thing I've seen from the last 2 weeks is at work today, I did, with a sly eye, watch the Natalia Vazquez Cup.
Did you watch Pierroth win Vangellys' hair?
No, I did not.
Are you disappointed you didn't even try to watch that?
No, I think I avoided it.
It was only 6 minutes long.
What? Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I'm thinking of a 6-minute Apuestas match. I'm thinking back on Diamante Azul versus Pierroth, mask versus mask. I'm just thinking, man, this is the year of throwaway Apuesta matches.
And there have been many. I mean, not just in CMLL, but AAA had that one match where it was like the 4-way or whatever the fuck that was, like with all the tag teams and with Poder del Norte losing their mask and stuff like that, or hair or whatever they lost. Remember that?
Wow.
And then IWRG always has at least a couple of shows where it's like, why are they doing this? Why are they wasting? But I think they think that it's going to draw people, and I think sometimes it does. But there's certain guys that aren't going to. And really, this one, Pierroth versus Vangellys, I think they knew right away that wasn't going to draw anybody because they put it underneath the Universal title final.
And it's not like it's the hair of Rush versus the hair of Volador, two guys who are stars, and their hair is almost like their trademark. Not their trademark, but one of their trademarks.
My favorite part of that Pierroth Vangellys match was like by like middle part of the second fall. Mm-hmm. And this was like, think about this, it was like a minute and a half for the first fall and maybe like 2 minutes for the second fall. By the point of that second fall, Pierroth was already blown up.
Wow.
He was already gassed. He was like already like, he was breathing heavily and stuff.
He's probably saying to them in the dressing room, okay, the next Apuestas match, can we make it a 6-man tag?
He's like, this wrestling stuff is very tiring.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was going to be like this.
It's only a 6-minute match. Come on. Is that like the shortest like stipulation like hair match or mask match that you've heard of?
I've ever heard of. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Volador versus Ultimo Guerrero was really good. I thought it was probably. I think the trios match that was underneath that had I think it was Mystico, Caristico, and Dragon Lee. That was really good.
Very cool.
But Volador Jr. versus Ultimo Guerrero, the thing is that these guys, you see them wrestle so many times that they don't, really, they I think more so the style that they work, that I think sometimes people kind of get tired of seeing the same stuff. In CMLL, it's not just like, it's not just one specific matchup. I think it's just the guys always have this certain, there's a CMLL style, right? Like
exactly. There's CMLL style, and there's a good deal of repetition, and and it's going to be more transparent just with YouTube, the internet, because almost everything is filmed, and so it's one of the, in my opinion, one of the weaknesses of CML, but it's not a major one.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, since I watched so much less than I used to, what I did see of the Volador Ultimo Guerrero mask, I enjoyed immensely.
Yeah.
And that's because I haven't seen them over and over. I think I've seen them in 6-man tags a bunch of times, but that's much different than a singles match.
So then the following week, they had the Copa Natalia Vazquez, which was a very prestigious title, named after the pioneer of women's wrestling in Mexico, Natalia Vazquez, who all of us historians knew about. I know Dr. Lucha is going to write a long feature on her.
Yeah. When I heard this cup, I got to tell you, when I heard this cup was honoring Natalia Vazquez, I just got goosebumps, and I said, "Who?"
Yes. I think everybody said that, or as Conan said, "Who the fuck is Natalia Vazquez?"
Well, there's one picture of her. She's a very cute gal. But that's about the only evidence I've found. I've been kind of Googling, trying to find stuff, and the only thing I find is about the cup, or just the mention that she wrestled on the very first CMLL show that would feature a women's match.
It would have been cool, like, if she was still alive and they brought her out, like, 100 years old.
Well, that would be great. I think why don't they do a cup after one of the veterans like Tonio Tapatia or Irma Gonzalez?
Yeah, somebody who's still around.
And somebody who's really on the scene. It's.
Yeah, it's funny because when they were announcing this at the press conference, this one reporter was like, I was reading up on this Natalia Vazquez, and she only wrestled a couple of times, and there was a reporter that was covering Lucha Libre at that time, and, I don't want to say this, but she wasn't very good. And I'm just laughing. I started laughing, like, dude, really? And this guy was like, so I'm like, what's your question if you're just putting down this poor lady? And it's like, but then, nobody knew who she was. Like, the women were like, wow, she was a pioneer, of course we're going on. It would be one thing, like, we see this a lot with baseball, where they honor, like, the Negro League stars.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually have footage. They have somebody who talks about that person and, does some research on this. And then they had Julio Cesar Rivera. He's like, well, I know there's three pictures that exist of her, but I've never seen one of them. And I was like, really? You guys are really getting this lady over. I really just think they just wanted to do a Copa for the women, give them something to, like, fight for, because, they got to start, like, if you're going to have this division for the women, I think they used to do this with the minis too, but if you're going to, like, honor this division, you have to do something like this. And I just think they could have gone with somebody else. They could have found, like, somebody within the last 30, 40 years that existed. They could have named it.
There's a lot of them. There's Chabela Romero.
Copa Dark Angel. I mean, shit. She's probably the female most responsible for the current wave of women's wrestling.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Very good point. I actually enjoyed the tournament. I didn't watch the other matches of the night yet. But
did you watch the Battle Royal?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, how could you?
Yeah.
You could have just skipped that and watched it.
I started enjoying it once the Battle Royal was wrapped up. I thought they were very smart to wind it up with like Amapola in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because a match like that, where you have a handful of really experienced women who are really good and a lot of gals who are either green or just okay, it could become a clusterfuck so quickly.
Did you notice this was a big match because Comandante, she had she changed her hairstyle. She didn't have curls. She straightened her hair.
I didn't.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't notice that. No, you're right though. Yeah.
I must be like that. You know what?
It's so funny. I wasn't even thinking of that, but you're right.
I must be like the expert on hairstyles of the women that appear on CML television, and
I'm taking after my father, who, when I bleached my hair, big mushroom cloud, and my mom said, "Do you notice anything different about your son?" And my dad just stared at me and was trying to figure out, and he said, "Well, you darkened your eyebrows." So I didn't inherit his genius for nuclear magnetic physics, but I did get his space cadet facial aphasia or whatever you call it. Facial dyslexia. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, it was a lot better than I expected it to be.
It's funny because I think there were some points where it kind of seemed like it was a little with the women that aren't very good. I think they kept them. I think they kept them there a little too long, like Scotty and Comandante, Seductora. Let me just name like half the.
Well, and that was the thing when I was watching it, I was thinking, okay, are they gonna have the last ones be like the really green ones? But no, they had women who could lead it.
Yeah. Well, Lady Maravilla debuted on that show too, in that match.
Yes.
What'd you think of Lady Maravilla?
Not bad. I mean,
you can say that about all the women. that's your compliment about not bad. She's okay.
Yeah. No, she wasn't bad. One of the ones I was looking at was
Sanely.
Mano Negra's daughter.
Yeah, Sanely.
Yeah. She looks like she has potential. I mean, she's...
Wow, you're the third person to say that now.
Really?
Yes, myself, the promoter out of Monterrey, Roberto. I think I have told you my friend's son.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're the third person. We're all part of Sanely's fan club now.
Oh, very cool.
Damn,
a number of people actually agree with me.
She's not very good, but like when she's like held from doing like the weird stuff, like she can't run the ropes. I think I've told you about how.
Well, that's the thing. Whenever she's doing something else, a lot of even so-so luchadors do, like when she's doing cartwheels or taking turnbuckles. I mean, she's green, definitely.
Yeah.
But she looks like she's got a passion for it, and I mean, she didn't suck,
Yeah.
And this is going to sound the weirdest thing to say. I like Dallas. I like Marcella.
Yeah.
But whenever the two are in the ring together, it's weird. It looks like they're scared they're going to hurt each other. It's like
it's kind of like, and I think that's what's hurting the division. That when Marcella's in there with Dallas, the matches kind of don't look good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It looks almost like two wrestlers like coming up with a new spot in the gym and just trying it out to see if it will work,
And of course, this being CMLL, they always have them work together all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like they don't mesh well. Like they don't fit. They don't have this good chemistry like Marcella and Amapola.
And it's not like they're bad wrestlers or anything. And I enjoyed watching them when they're with other people, but just when they're with each other, it's weird.
Yeah. I think the end of it was Suhei versus Zuxis and Dallas, right?
And Amapola.
Yeah, Amapola.
The three of them all turned on her, and the way they sold it to the crowd was really cool. I thought the finish was really strong. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was a good match. I think that was probably like the then they went to the main event. The main event wasn't anything in that show. But the other thing in that on that show was the opening match with Puma and Tiger, and we'll talk about them being in LA a week, I think 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that. But I thought it was funny they were working the opener, and backstage when we were, I don't think did you catch what we were talking about? What I was talking about with Puma, Tiger, and Guerrero Maya Jr.
Just me a little bits and pieces, but not solidly. No.
Did you catch the part where we were talking about opening matches in CMLL?
No, I don't.
So we start talking about opening matches in CMLL. For some reason, I don't know why we were talking about it. And I tell them, the worst thing about opening matches in CMLL is that they can't do any like dives or do anything flashy to get the crowd excited. So you get this really quiet crowd to open a CMLL show, and a dead crowd basically. And unless it's really talented wrestlers like Puma and Tiger are, because Puma and Tiger worked the opening match on this show. And or guys like that who a good matchup, but and they were talking about how they can't do those dives, and Guerrero Maya Jr. brought up how they could only do pescados to the outside, and then I bring up how Stuquita's probably the one guy who figured out how to get the fans excited by doing like a plancha onto the ramp, and then maybe doing like a different jumping off the guardrail to do something.
Right, yeah.
So he's doing other stuff, and they were talking about that's the way you do it. But they were just laughing about the whole thing, like, that's the orders we get from the promotion. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good. I thought that was a good show. Like, I didn't hate it. I would say it was okay. Like, every match was okay except for the Ingobernables match. And there's some people who said they actually liked the Ingobernables match.
Oh wow, interesting. One of the things I liked about the Copa was it was also fun to see women's wrestling in Mexico with a different plot than just a 6-woman tag that you see over and over again. I mean, this is going to sound funny, but I actually thought it was really refreshing to see them, tell a different story.
Well, my co-host on Lucha Talk, Dylan Harris, he was on a podcast about women's wrestling around the world, Japan, Mexico, and the U.S., wherever they hold a women's show. And he was saying that the host asked him, I can't really get into women's wrestling in Mexico. And he's like, oh, really? Why not? And he's like, well, the CML shows, it's always trios matches. And he's like, yeah, you could hear our podcast, and that's basically, we usually just say it's another trios match. and we move on. And that's exactly what it is. And I think that's what CML has to do. Like, they have to realize that they're going to put up all these shows every week available. They got to be a little more creative or more. And again, I don't think they care because they put them up for free, so it doesn't matter. Like,
that kind of baffles me a bit because, I mean, it's fun for us. We can watch wrestling almost any night we want live.
Yeah.
But when you're kind of seeing similar angles of every day of the week, especially when outfits like YouTube, live streaming is kind of the wave of the future.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is for most households, but if you're an avid wrestling fan like we are, and you want to watch a lot of CMLL, you're going to see a lot of repetitive stuff within a 1 week span. And, I mean, the way we watched wrestling growing up is it was on once a week. So you're not seeing, the dark matches, the road shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, and, and you kind of wish there was a little bit, like, a little variety wouldn't hurt.
Exactly, exactly, especially when you're in a different town each week, but the whole world can see it.
Well, I think with them, their idea of variety is just changing like the trios match. Like, hey, you guys didn't get to see Inquisidor this past Friday. Guess what? You get them on Tuesdays, or you get Akuma on Mondays, and and Sensei and Canelo Casas on Sundays. And it's like, although we don't get the Sunday show, but I think the Sunday show we'd probably like shoot ourselves after if we had to watch that.
Yeah, I've actually avoided it upon your recommendation.
Yeah, you stopped watching Puebla?
Yeah, I've stopped watching Puebla. I'm cured. I'm cured of my Puebla fever.
Oh no.
I am still stunned. I can't remember what the lineup was, but I'm still stunned that a few months ago when I was still watching it, that there was a women's six woman tag, and it was actually a really good match. And I was saying, of all places in Puebla.
Yeah, it's weird because there are some good trios matches, but it's like, come on, like you could do a tag team. I mean, singles match.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't mix it up more like that.
Yeah. And speaking of tag teams, we have new Arena Coliseo tag team champions.
Oh.
Sanson and Cuatrero beat Black Cherry and Negro Navarro this past Saturday.
Oh, trip out.
Yeah, so they're the new champions. And not only that, look at how much CML thinks of the Dinamitas, the junior Dinamitas, the new generation Dinamitas.
Yes.
They had Sanson, Cuatrero, and Forastero beat Hijos del Infierno in Guadalajara for the Mexican National Trios titles. So they now hold 2 Trios titles and now also the Arena Coliseo tag team titles. That really tells you how high they are on these guys. And they're really good. I mean, Sanson and Cuatrero are really good. Forastero's a little behind them.
Yeah, I remember the podcast where I had no memory of seeing them. Oh, that still weirds me out. I mean, I don't know.
The podcast where I said this was your worst podcast ever, and I left when you were leaving.
Oh, it was. But I've seen them since then, and yes, I like them. I like them quite a bit, actually.
Yes, I think Forastero's behind, but Sanson and Cuatrero, you could tell they were really good.
Yeah.
And then they also have Universo Dos Mil's son is also in CMLL now. So you have 4 guys. I don't know why they didn't do something with Universo Dos Mil Jr. so he could hold the title. Make him part of family, make him feel wanted. Yeah, but I hope that doesn't mean it's the end of Black Cherry Negro Navarro in CMLL because I think they bring something different. And I think that really what they bring different is that it's 2 guys that we don't see every single week. That's
exactly. I mean, they're a rare institution, guys at their age who can really still go.
Oh, other news, something that happened earlier that I didn't even write down. Black Cherry is going to be heading to Japan in September.
Really?
Yeah.
For who?
For Kaientai Dojo, K-Dojo.
Way cool.
Yeah, he's going with Sammy Guevara and 2 other guys that I can't remember right now. But Dookie and Cyrus.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, Black Cherry's like that. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, I'll get to watch that. Somebody will send me a link to that match when it happens.
That would be cool. I would like to see that too.
Yeah. So the other news. Oh, before the show started this past Friday, they brought out Blue Panther and Sam Adonis to sign contracts for a hair match on August 4th. And this is getting a good heat. I mean, I don't know how good the match is going to be, but it's getting good heat from the crowd.
In fact, when I was fast forwarding to the Natalia Vazquez Cup, I did come across the end of the match of the 6-man featuring Blue Panther and Sam Adonis.
Oh, from the previous week?
Yeah, and you are not kidding me. That guy's getting great heat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. He was on Informa earlier, and he had they were talking about the he had the flag with the Trump face on it.
Yes.
So they asked this one girl in the crowd if she's a fan of Sam Adonis, and she's like, no, I don't like the face, the person on the flag and what he represents. She's like, Obama was way better. So then
that's great. That's awesome.
So then Sam Adonis was like, do you like Peña Nieto, the Mexico president? And she's like, no, I don't. And then the announcer, Julio Cesar Rivera, was like, you know what, let's just change the topic because otherwise we're going to get in trouble.
It didn't quite go as the way they expected.
No, it went the way they expected, but they kind of wanted to end it because, you don't want to talk politics because people are going to get...
Well, you want to talk about it, but to get heat for the match. And it's almost like you're having this heat by saying this American president is a real dick. Oh, and so is our president. So
yeah.
You might as well have USA versus Mexico.
Yeah, Sam Adonis has been all over doing a lot of press. He did Mark Cole's Winter Palace podcast, but he also did Enmascarados, the Mas Lucha podcast, and they asked him if he voted for Trump. And he's like, oh, I didn't vote for Trump because I was already in Mexico and I couldn't vote. And he's like, but I do owe I owe Trump a lot for my career, and for that I thank him. That was
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then I mentioned, well, he's from Pittsburgh, and some guy's like, well, he's from Pittsburgh. I'm pretty sure he voted for Trump.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because how many times have we been on at like indie lucha shows, and there's somebody, usually not in the main event, but somewhere in the middle of the match, a heel who will say, "Viva Donald Trump!"
Yeah.
And they look over to see the fans getting mad, and the fans are just kind of going, "Oh, boo, whatever." Yeah.
Well, it's LA also, so we're already living through that.
Yeah, but it also takes somebody special to get No, not somebody special, but it's amazing how that's a great way to get heat, and you can see that people still don't quite get it. How to pull it off.
Yeah, well, Sam is. I'm guessing Sam is probably going to win this because he's also going to be in the Grand Prix on September 1st. But I think it should be good because it's going to. I mean, Blue Panther. He's still very good. He's still really good he knows how to work. He knows how to put together a match. I think it'll be good.
Yes.
So hopefully. They also announced we finally know the entire team, both teams, for the Grand Prix, for Team Mexico and Team World. It took them a long time to figure out. They also mentioned Princesa Suhei would be the flag bearer for the Mexico team. When they go out there and they
Oh yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah, so she said she was very honored, very touched. Team Mexico, we already knew it's going to be Volador Jr, Rush, Valiente, Ultimo Guerrero, Euphoria, Dragon Lee, Mephisto, and who better to represent Mexico than Diamante Azul? Those will be the 8.
It still sounds promising despite that last entry.
Yeah, the other guys are good. Team World, I mean, we had some issues with Team World when they started announcing the guys because there were some really questionable decisions. Obviously, the first name they mentioned was Haku, which
really?
I think he was the first. Yeah, he was the first one mentioned, Haku. No, the first one mentioned was Matt Taven. And then the second one was Haku, which really, I think we were all thinking, man, this is horrible. So then the third guy mentioned was Juice Robinson from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Satoshi Kojima, also from New Japan Pro Wrestling, one of the really good wrestlers from the early 2000s, and now it's 2017. So from CMLL, Marco Corleone, Sam Adonis, and Johnny Idol.
Wow, nice.
So that's 7. So earlier today, they announced the 8th member being Michael Elgin. Really? Yes, and he was good. Remember last year's song?
Yes. Yes, I do. Oh, that's awesome.
So I was thinking, well, I was kind of bummed with the original group, but then once they mentioned Elgin, I was like, okay, he's good. Michael Elgin's good. Plus, we get to hear Volador Jr. call him Michelle. So that could be fun. Yeah, so that show should be really good. They also announced the 84th anniversary date will be Saturday, September 16th. I can't remember. I think this might be the first time they've had an anniversary show on a Saturday.
I was gonna say. I wonder why they're changing it from the traditional Friday night shows.
Yeah, and it's going to be on at 5 p.m. Mexico time, so it should be early. I think that's 3 o'clock local time Pacific. So that should be good. I like how Triplemania and the anniversary show. Did you know there's actually big boxing fights that night?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, neither did I.
Because you and I both follow boxing with a bit of a passion.
Yeah, I have zero interest in boxing, people. I mean, as much as people, I know people because I like wrestling, they think I'm going to like boxing and mixed martial arts. No.
It's not only that's not always the case.
Yeah, it's wrestling, and actually I do like sports. It's just I don't like boxing. I don't like soccer. I don't like mixed martial arts. I watch baseball, basketball, and I watch wrestling. That's all I watch.
I watch sumo.
Yeah. And you watch sumo, yes.
Yes, I watch sumo.
So you guys
Hakuho, the Mongolian Yokozuna is probably the best sumo ever. The guy is so badass.
Yeah, so if you guys wanna ask us about sumo, baseball, or basketball, we have you covered. But don't ask us about boxing or mixed martial. Well, you like mixed martial arts, so you would be able to answer.
Yeah, I just watch it whenever it happens to be on. I used to watch it somewhat passionately, but it seems like there's a mixed martial arts show presented by UFC. Like it feels like it happens twice a week or something. I mean, there's just so much of it. I mean, somebody at work today was saying, "Hey, are you all excited about John Jones and Daniel Cormier?" And I'm just like, well, yeah. The first thing I think is, wait, wasn't there a huge match just a few weeks ago? It's like there's so much of it. It's like a better quality version of AAA where so many people are in the mix. I lose track of who's what match is happening to them.
The only reason I know is like when Dave Meltzer is talking about how he has like a day that he has to watch UFC. Like, what do you think right now is like the plan for the anniversary show right now? What do you think? What is your guess?
Well,
nothing really, right?
No, nothing. I mean, if I was just going to guess, and I don't even think this would be the main event, but I could picture if Sam Adonis goes over Blue Panther, maybe they'll have him against somebody for the hair.
Yeah, like him losing it.
Yeah, but I don't picture that being much of like a main event match, whoever it is. And
that's the weird thing. Like if you look at like I think the top 3 stiff matches right now that are possible. Obviously, once you get past Blue Panther and Adonis, they already have a date. It's all like the secondary match, like Suhei versus Duxis has been built up.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one? Niebla Roja and Gran Guerrero, which I don't think that would draw anybody in.
No, not for a main event.
Yeah, and then I think there's a third one that they've been building up that hasn't actually gotten a lot of interest either. So it has to be something. I'm guessing it's going to be a hair match or something because they're kind of running out of matches.
Probably, and I think they'd have to have. I mean, I would hope, anyways. I would hope they have somebody like Rush or Volador in the main event spot. I mean,
I'm guessing it's going to be Ultimo Guerrero versus Niebla Roja, probably.
I'd be up for that.
Yeah. I mean, because although Niebla Roja always loses, so I think people are going to be like, man, he's going to lose anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I've been totally enjoying watching Ultimo Guerrero lately.
Yeah, I mean he's really good. I mean, he's good.
Really good, and I think we talked about this on the last podcast. He's one of the guys who can brag. I'm trying to elevate the new stars, but not in the backhanded compliment sort of way. I mean, I
don't know about that because he still kind of puts himself over.
He puts himself over strong, but he does make them shine. It's not like a. It's not like the old Hulk Hogan. I'm elevating him.
He's good. He can't have if he's gonna have a match with like say Volador or Caristico. Well, Caristico's older, but like Niebla Roja, I mean, he'd have to work really he'd have to be really sloppy to have a bad match with those guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he does. I mean, he does put in the effort a little more than those guys. Although he does have his moments. What was I gonna say? This past July 18th, one of the top promoters of Lucha Libre in the 80s and 90s passed away. Benjamin Mora.
Yes, and although I never met the gentleman, I went to a lot of his shows, both at the Olympic Auditorium in L.A. and at the Auditorio in Tijuana.
Yeah.
And I am embarrassed to say I don't know a whole lot about him, but I mean,
did you know he owned the Lucha Libre magazine?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I first found out about that in the strangest way. Is I was is like 86 or 80. No, it's closer to like 89, I think. But Pat Hood and Physical and we were always buying the Lucha mags, and Pat Hood is the only one who spoke Spanish, and I saw some column mentioning the Olympic Auditorium action that had been happening, and I was saying, hey, Pat, what does it say? And I'll never forget, Hood was reading it and saying, I think I'm getting this right, but this is weird. And it was around the time when Mora and whoever he is promoting with, I guess he had a partner at the Olympic who was an American. They had a parting of ways, and the partner continued to promote for, I think, 5 or 6 more months. And his shows were pretty good too. And in fact, I think the reason he stopped was because the Olympic was being closed down, and they were talking about tearing it down at the time. But I guess I don't know if it was Benjamin Mora who wrote it or somebody, somebody who was friends with him, but it was weird because they were talking about like. God, it feels weird talking about it. It talks about how there's a big falling out, and of course he doesn't say it from the through the eyes of Benjamin Moore. They're making it look like it's a journalistic piece, but they're talking about the guy being like a rotten Jew or something like that. And I'm just like, what? And from what I heard, I don't know if this was always under Mora's claim, but Lucha Libre would put some kind of odd stuff like that.
Yeah, they used to shit on a lot of their competition.
Yeah.
People they had heat with, they would like write really negative stuff. I think we'll figure it out as I go along. I think you do have a couple magazines from that era, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have quite a few.
I'll probably, when I do the Lucha Classic covering those magazines, I'll probably be telling you, yeah, he said this about this guy. And you're like, really?
I would like to know more about it, but I'll never forget the expression on Pat Hood's face when he was reading it. Just his eyes are sort of kind of like squinted, like, what? Like, is this for real?
Yeah. He actually co-promoted those shows that you went to, and that we will actually talk about the next Lucha Classica, the shows in Los Angeles.
The Hijo de Santo versus Negro Casas.
The FMW WWA shows where it was Hijo de Santo, Onita, and Tarzan Goto versus Negro Casas, Horace Boulder, and I forget, Tim Patterson.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that was one of the best shows I ever attended. It was one of the most enjoyable shows ever. I had so much fun. I was even snapping pics at ringside for that.
Yeah, I saw you on there. I was like, I just posted the match on our Patreon.
Yeah, that was when I was kind of actively wrestling, and I always thought, I wonder if I could ever weasel my way into an opener on one of these shows. I'm glad I didn't, because I had so much fun just snapping pics and just watching a match that on paper did not look like it was going to be anything special.
Would it have been amazing, like, if Negro Casas remembered you from that?
I know, that would have been funny.
It would have been like, hey, I remember you from 92, right?
Yeah. Hey, this ring they have up tonight, is this the same one we had back in 92?
Yes. Actually, before that, because you saw him even before that, like in the earlier, like a year or two before that, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I actually got a photo op with him in Japan.
Yeah, so it's like he probably.
You know what's funny is I did run into him at a show and introduce myself, and he didn't remember me. Of course, I looked a lot different from when I was in Japan. I had, a beard, shoulder-length hair, and these weird-looking glasses, 1990s.
You were going with the 30-something look, wasn't it? Like something like that.
Yes. I had the 30-something look, and then I think the next time I saw him, I had ditched the beard. I had a lot cooler glasses, and my hair was practically down to my elbows, so I think I did look like a different being. But I was shocked he remembered us from a few years ago. That still blows me away.
Yeah. So we'll probably have more on Benjamin Mora on the Lucha Classica podcast, since we'll be talking about that, and we'll try to get Dr. Lucha on the show and have him talk about it more. Yeah,
he's somebody I actually would like to. One of those guys I never really thought what his story was, but I think he's worth doing some research on, because I remember going to so many of his shows, and more often than not, they were really solid cards he promoted.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so we went to a show a couple weeks ago, and here in Los Angeles, and who was there? Puma, Tiger, and Guerrero Maya Jr. We got to talk to them. We interviewed them. Their match was really good, too.
That was a good match. That was really enjoyable.
Yeah, what did you think of that show? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I'd say the main event was the one match to speak about.
Yeah. The building was kind of out there, too. So
the building, actually, the building would be a great place to have a wrestling show if they didn't have so many pillars and beams inside the arena blocking the view of the ring.
Yeah, it's like those pillars were like, I was like trying to get like video of it or get pictures, like, man, there's a pillar in every corner. Like I couldn't get anything.
It's like we had to be really clever to find out a place to sit where there was no place where our view would be interrupted.
Yeah, what you think of Puma, Tiger, and Guerrero Maya Jr.?
I loved them. They were awesome. And what nice guys, too.
Yeah, really nice guys. Well, it's the Casas family. They're all really nice. Guerrero Maya Jr. remembered us from the time.
From 5 years ago, from 2012.
Yeah, and he tells me that I'm skinnier and tells Kurt, you look a little heavier. And I'm like, man, I don't know if that's like, I think that might have been like, he probably should have told me I looked fatter and you skinnier. And it would have been a little bit. It would have been a better.
Well, I gotta say he is perceptive, because I think I am about 10 pounds heavier than I was when we last saw him.
Oh, really? Oh, man, he did notice. Well, he looked a lot bigger too. He looked a little thicker.
Yeah, he did. I agree. He did.
Really nice guy. I thought he was a really friendly guy.
Yeah,
one of the nicer guys that I mean, it's funny. Like I would say, everybody that we've met and interviewed for just interviewed for the website and stuff, they've all been really nice. Like
I know they have.
Yeah.
Yes, they have. I mean,
I was kind of disappointed. Mano Negro wasn't nice, like friendlier. He was a nice guy, but not friendlier or like.
Yeah, but I think you were pointing out to me that
I was trying to get him to talk about his daughter. I mean, come on.
Yeah. how to make friends and influence people.
Yes.
No, but you pointed out to me how it's probably a generational thing.
Yeah.
They carry themselves in a more formal fashion.
Well, remember the person who told us about this was Volador Jr. was the one that told us, like when he heard me say that I thought he was going to be an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
He's like, you're the second person that says this. Why would you think that? And I was like, because I don't know. It's you kind of get stories from you guys from Mexico. Like, no, that's the old generation. The new guys are a lot easier to deal with. It's like, oh, cool. And Puma and Tiger, I mean, geez, they continue the tradition of a lot of just great guys.
Yeah,
just great people in the Casas family.
That was a really fun match. I try to remember it was with Espectro Segundo, whoever that was.
Acero Dorado Pilotos, we see that.
Yeah, that was, and boy, that bump that Platano, the referee, took into the garbage cans.
And I watched there's somebody posted the video, but I don't remember when exactly it happened, but I couldn't find it, like that bump. And I was like, man, I probably will have to rewatch the video because I really want to see who bumped, like who threw them or who tossed them.
Yeah, because remember, we didn't even realize it happened until we heard this loud sound.
Yeah, and he flew by all the trash on the floor.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the use of the trash can by Espectro, and then later on Tiger using it. And, I love how... And that was another example of how you get Puma, Tiger, and Guerrero Maya Jr., who you see them in CMLL, and they kind of like, they're really good in CMLL, but they kind of like are limited. And then they work an indie show, and it's like, wow, these guys are so much better than what they're doing.
They are. They're really good. Guerrero Maya's one. I don't. Who knows? I don't know why he doesn't get a stronger push. That guy's really, really good.
And that's what have you read the interview I did with him?
I have not yet.
Okay, so like in the interview, I asked him like why he's kind of, does he like working in CML and trios matches and stuff like that? But I try to what I'm really trying to ask him is like, why stay there? Like if you're still doing the same old trios matches and stuff like that.
It was a nice tactful way to ask him.
Yeah, but then he started talking about, but instead I started asking about independent wrestling. So I think it kind of just like flowed together, and he kind of explained how, in independent wrestling you have a little more liberty to do all the stuff you can't do in CMLL, and they kind of like that. But it's hard for those guys because you kind of want to see them succeed and still be part of CMLL, but at the same time they don't really do anything with them in CMLL. No,
it's true. It's true.
Pretty unfortunate. Yeah,
I know, that is a bummer.
Yeah, were you disappointed you didn't win the big flat screen TV? Yeah.
I think I might have had a better chance if I bought one of the raffle tickets for $10.
I like how the girl goes over and like she shakes my hand to like and I'm thinking, I look at the list and I'm like, hey, there's only one person that's bought a ticket. I go, I'll buy one, and then she tells us the price, $10, and you just see all of us go like, no.
I know.
Yeah,
you can sucker me out of a $2. You can sucker me out of a $2 raffle ticket. But,
$2 is my limit. $10, that's already too much. So, Kurt, anything else you want to talk about? Any other news you have?
No, not right now.
Will you be watching CMLL this week?
You know what? I'm going to throw a curveball and say, no, I will not. Because maybe I'm lying. You know what I mean? You know,
the cool thing is now they actually put it on YouTube, too. Like, they themselves put it up.
Yes, I've noticed that. I like that.
Yeah, so, like, if you can't watch it on a Friday, you could watch it, like, the following day or whenever you have free time. So that's good. Have you been keeping up with Lucha Underground?
No, I have not.
Oh, man.
that groan sounds like, oh, dear, you're not missing anything groan.
Well, it's actually it's been pretty good. Like the last week was pretty good. I haven't watched this week, but they're down to like the final 16 or 8 in that tournament that they're doing. So you didn't have to watch. You could just skip the first round, really.
That sounds good.
32-man tournament is a little too much. So I guess we should end this podcast. I will mention again, you guys can check out the Lucha Classica podcast on our Patreon page, patreon.com/LuchaWorld. $3 reward. There's 3 rewards, $1, $3, $5 reward. The $3 and higher is the one where you'll get the Lucha Classica podcast and some of the other stuff. The $1 reward, I don't even know why it exists, but I put it up there. You know, if somebody wants to support us by sending us $1, then that's appreciated. I'm like the worst person at plugging this stuff, right? I don't even it's weird. It's weird, the internet era. You have to this is I think Patreon's our way, my way of getting rid of having to bug people about buying, clicking on ads and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yes.
So I think that's basically the way I see it. And you're getting more content, really. You're getting I do post a couple of videos, although I think some of the videos down the road will get posted again, for everyone on YouTube.
Yes.
But, just start it off for those people, then post them, make them available for everyone else. It more gives me a reason to put it up more than anything.
Yeah, and the Lucha Classicas, you're picking a lot of great subjects, and, these aren't just things ripped from Lucha Wiki and then how would I say plagiarized.
Yeah,
no, there's a real good Lucha education in there. I'm really looking forward to hearing the piece on La Parca you guys did.
Yeah, and there's always something where Dr. Lucha will bring up something back from behind the scenes, and he doesn't want to say it, and I will make him say it.
That's great alone.
Yeah, I think he thinks hundreds of people, like thousands of people, listen to it, but it's a Patreon page, so like only the Patreon people listen to it. And I don't think they're going to go like telling L.A. Park or whoever's still involved in that story what we say.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
So
if they do, then they need to find a hobby.
Yes. If they do, we will block them. No, just kidding.
That's right.
Yeah. So check that out. Anything else, Kurt?
Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, Hare Krishna.